Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the new movie, Black Adam. This movie was directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, who's directed a mixture of horror movies and Liam Neeson movies. While I had to temper my expectations going into this movie, the trailer for it got me excited, so I wanted to check it out. The synopsis is as follows. In ancient Kondek, Teth Adam was bestowed the almighty powers of the gods. After using these powers for vengeance, he was imprisoned, becoming Black Adam. Nearly 5,000 years have passed, and Black Adam has gone from man to myth to legend. Now free, his unique form of justice, born out of rage, is challenged by modern-day heroes who form the Justice Society. Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. The plot of this movie could not decide what it wanted to be for the life of it. At first it seemed to be about a character named Isis? Don't cancel me! And her goal was to find this demonic crown so she could re-hide it. Because somehow she thought that finding it and re-hiding it would make it safer than if she would have just left it hidden. After that, it then becomes about them wanting Black Adam to liberate Kondek from the mercenaries who control it. Then it became about the Justice Society wanting to imprison Black Adam, and then. And it never seemed to commit to a single plot anywhere in the movie. The only thing that it committed to was the location of Kondek, because you never go anywhere else for the entire movie. There's maybe 1 or 2 scenes that take places in different parts of the world, but this whole entire movie is basically shot in just the city of Kondek, which along with the convoluted nature of the plot makes you feel trapped. It really seemed like the storytelling behind this movie was extremely weak, and after about 1/4 of the film you realize that this movie really feels like a cheap action thriller movie, just like Dwayne Johnson normally acts in. But honestly, I found myself comparing Black Adam to Morbius because it was on that level of disconnected chaos throughout the film. If you think about the plot and storytelling in the least bit, you realize that it all is just a huge mess and that none of it makes sense. So plot gets a huge thumbs down. 2 is family friendliness. This movie has quite a bit of action and violence in it. In addition to that, there are some disturbing images of hell and demons, and some mild profanity. But the violence that you see on screen is pretty graphic at times. So because of the nature of what you're seeing, I have to give family friendliness a thumbs down. 3 is acting and script. Look, Dwayne Johnson is Dwayne Johnson, and I think he showed as much variability as he actually has. And I think that regardless of what you give Pierce Brosnan, he's gonna nail it because he's a veteran actor. But other than that, there were some really bad acting performances in this movie. I really didn't like Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, but the one actor who absolutely ruined this movie for me was Bodhi Sabungui. He played a character named Amon, who's the child of Isis. And his acting performance was the most annoying thing that I've experienced in a long time. I don't know whose nephew he is, but they decided to have him be an integral part of this film and give him this gimmick that involves him riding a skateboard in like 18 different scenes. And it absolutely does nothing for this movie. In fact, there came multiple times where I wanted to walk out because there were scenes that involved him that just went on and on and on, and he would not shut up. And that was partly due to his acting performance and a lot to do with the script. The script of this movie is just straight up bad. A lot of the short monologues you hear make absolutely no sense, and they don't go anywhere, they don't advance the plot. And it really seems like nothing went into the thought process behind the script of this movie. Remarkably awful work. Acting and script get a thumbs down. 4 is character development. It really seems like Hollywood has forgotten how to develop characters. Character progression does not equal character depth, but they seem to think that it does. No one in this movie is really developed, even Black Adam. There's about 5 minutes of exposition dumping in the beginning of the movie, but it just force feeds you some information about Black Adam because not a lot of people know what he's from. But there's no depth to any of these characters, and I honestly think that this was one of the weakest points of this movie. There are some interesting characters. I liked Atom Smasher, I liked Cyclone, I really liked Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. But there's no depth to any of these characters. You literally do not care about them. You don't even care about Black Adam by the end of the film. And the villain had no character development whatsoever either. Although I could definitely argue that Amon is the villain of the movie. The tension between Adam and Hawkman, and Isis and Amon and the Justice Society is very plainly manufactured and empty to the point where you're like, why are you even fighting? This is so stupid and a huge waste of time, which this movie does a lot of. So as much as I wanted to care about the characters, any of them, it didn't happen because there was no character development. So character development gets a huge thumbs down. 5 is visuals and CGI. I know a lot of people, including myself, were hoping that the visuals in this movie would be amazing, but they weren't. Some of the action sequences are cool, and some of the CGI looks pretty good, and other CGI looks awful. But much like other movies in the DCU, there's a lot of useless slow-mo, and some of the CG in that slow-mo is pretty awful. In a movie that seemed to do nothing else right, the CG was okay, so I have to give visuals and CGI a 50-50. And 6 is rewatchability. This movie is just over 2 hours long, and you feel it the entire time. Despite this film being action sequence after action sequence after action sequence, linked together by some really weak dialogue and character interaction, you just get bored. And like I said, the storytelling is so bad that some of the decisions made in the film, you're like, why in the world would you even do that? And there's something that happens in the span of 5 minutes near the end of the movie that is so frustratingly stupid that I almost walked out. But then I thought of you guys. I watch these things so you don't have to. There's no way that I would watch this movie again because it was so bad. Rewatchability gets a thumbs down. With all these areas considered, I have to give Black Adam a 3.5 out of 10. This movie introduced some interesting characters and there was a couple half-decent acting performances, but it was plagued by terrible storytelling, an empty, non-committal, convoluted plot, an abysmal script, absolutely no character development whatsoever, and most of all, Amon Thomas. He can take that skateboard and skate right out of this universe. Please do not waste your time or money going to see Black Adam in theaters because you will be hugely disappointed. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Black Adam, I feel sorry for you. But please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.